Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're working on the sensory journal again, and I'm going to finish up the first signature with the braille paper. That one didn't have any of the embossed folders in it, so the braille paper will go into this one. And I may find a few places to put this wall repair patch and see if I can get that to work in here. It may be a little late because I figured I'd put it behind some of the collages I'll be making. And then we'll probably go ahead and work on the second signature. So let's see what we got here. And I want to thank everyone for coming to visit. Thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. I do have a few pages in here, it's just blank. So I really don't know. Is this a good spot? This might be a good spot for the braille paper. And I've already got it kind of folded in half. I scored it. I'm going to do a gentle push on it. Now, after I sprayed it the other day, I didn't feel like the little dots had stood out. So I just went over it with this black soot and just gently went over it with this flat spouncer. And it's pulling out all of those little buds that stick up, those little points. And it really did the trick. I really was happy with how that turned out. So I think I showed you that on another video. But yeah. And it's just the perfect size. So I've got it in there like that. And this page was blank. I didn't really have anything for it. It can stay blank. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a few smooth elements in here, so I guess that will be what that's for. Now the patch may look pretty good right here. Now it comes out, it is an 8x8-inch square. Now you can get a tape form of this stuff. I got it at Walmart in the hardware department, and I think there's actually two pieces of it. Right? Is that how it worked? And I just kind of jiggy-jaggy cut like a piece off of it. It looks like it's coming off the back square. I don't want much. I think I'll put a little bit like right in here. There's a white element here. I'm not sure if it'll go over this tea bag. That's why I'm not really looking at putting it there. I don't know if there's a way to make a really nice ripped look here or not. So we're just going to kind of play around and see. I don't want a straight line, so let's get in here and do something like that. There we go. Now let's see what we got. See, it's got a little bit of sticky to it, but I don't know if it's got enough to stick against that kind of a furry. A tea bag's kind of a furry feel to it. Now this is like see-through, so you can see the little elements in behind it. See, I kind of like that. It gives you the feel. That's what I'm going for. You got that little grid feel where nothing else was going on this page. There is stuff on this page. Now, I had some stickers, and I think I showed them to you at one point, but I went ahead and put them through here because, I wasn't quite sure where they would all go, so I just played with it one evening. And, of course, I've got, did I have anything else in here I need to show you? I did put this card in this belly band. I think we decorated that up together. And, see, we got that against that. Bernice said she really liked the window. Thank you, Bernice. It's kind of cool looking. It almost looks like a curtain, doesn't it? Oh, it's kind of neat looking. And here's another one of those. It's kind of like a house or something on there. And then there's a painter one here. They were like advertisements of different jobs or something. So it was kind of, none of the jobs went with anything. It was in my sensory journal, though. That's the only problem. All right, I got to set these up a little higher so we can get this out and start working on it. I put a fish one here. So these two are going to go here. This says caramelized sugar, and this is Life Begins After Coffee. And I thought those two would go pretty good right there. Let me get my glue out. And I need to put this down first. And I'll probably put it right there. And then that right on top. Yep, that looks good to me. How was everyone doing today? I got to sleep late again today. Somebody else took care of the dogs next door, so I kind of snoozed away. I'm not sure what the temperature is today. Everybody was saying I was teasing them when I was talking about all that nice weather we were having, but don't have it anymore. And then yesterday I went in to see Mom, and they're supposed to be doing this physical therapy stuff with her. She said she couldn't get it done the other day because her sugar was too high. And it's like, where are these people checking her? They got some pretty sad people. And then they were supposed to do a check on if she had a UTI. And that nurse that was on duty that day never did it. She said she was going to do it that day. It takes about 48 hours for the culture to grow so they would know if she had any problems. So my brother filled out a grievance report on her. And the other little nurse that came in, she says, yeah. She says, that's okay. And sometimes it needs to be done. She says she kind of drops the ball on them as well. Now, I guess I could either trim this up a little better because, my eyeball is seeing little pieces sticking out. Or I could have inked it, which is what Phyllis would have rather seen me do. Oh, sorry, Phyllis. Now, this, I don't know how well this will show. This is that little washi. And I want to kind of do it kind of like that. So I guess I'll put this down here at the bottom. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of this as well. Because I've got, I don't know if you can see it, I've got that little bit of yellow from the bag. I think it's Burger King or something. And yeah, it's kind of messing up my flow. Alright, let's see. I do need to kind of give a little bit of a rough cut to that edge. There we go. There. Oh, I went through. Let's see, I want to try to do it like this where it's kind of covering it. Let me see, I can turn that upside down. Yeah, it kind of camouflages. Although I can still kind of see it. Oh, well. I went through the 2 boxes of Happy Mail. And I divided up as well as I could what I could make out of it. So I got to get now onto making some kind of journals and such with it. Yeah, I had a, let's see, I had a couple of them that will be the fairy. I have something here, wood grain. Okay, so I must have wanted the wood grain and emboss over here. And do I have enough glue on the back of that thing? When it's laying on that grid, it doesn't look like it's going down very well. Okay, let's see if we can squirt some more up underneath of here. Okay, let's hold that down for a second. Yeah, I got 2 or 3 that's going to be like fairy oriented. I don't know how many I'm going to get out of the Sherlock Holmes and steampunk. There's a lot of that. Like I told you, that's her favorite thing. I'm going to go ahead and erase this where I won't see it. And let's see, what else did I see? There's one that's just like, backgrounds and textures and just kind of scrap mail kind of stuff. Now, it might be I kind of wanted to put that here, but I always cut this apart and do it like him sitting up here and the tranquility over there. So let's see, maybe we can just do us a little rip right here. I kind of wondered about having this where it was going to be a tuck or something along those lines, but I don't know if I'm going to worry about that. Now, I have a lot of white showing there and white here, and I want to cut or rip this down to where I got just the wood on there. Okay, so there we go. Let me get in here on my scorched timber and see if I can. Wait a minute, let me cap this glue real quick. I got a white hair on top of my scorched timber. Thank you, Graylin. So let's see what I can do here. Kind of hide that. Alright, you can also take a marker if you don't do the inks or anything. Anytime you rip something and it has a real white core that comes out, you can always use a marker, colored pencils. Well, not colored pencils. I don't think they would do as great a job. But any kind of like a wide marker would do it. Let's see what we got here now. Let's see if I can't put that like right here. I like that roughness. Now I'm going to use Fabric Tack because it's gooier. Thicker and gooier. And it's going to give us the little bit of a wood. And see, I've got enough of these different embossing folders that I can just kind of mix them and match them all through here. They won't be in just one spot. Okay, like that. Yeah. Now I have to put my rub. Well, they're not really a rub-on. I do need to fussy cut them. Not the tranquility, but the little thing here. I do need to fussy cut that. I think I can do that on here. It's not that much. Oh, goodness. I think the weather might be trying to get a little milder again. That cold stuff, I just can't stand it. Ugh. It seeps into your bones. I'm sure the rest of you have that issue. I don't know how you do it, Bernice, up there. I know y'all have to have colder weather than we do down here. We get a surprise now and then. Alright, let me see if I can get this to set flat. There we go. It's not too bad of a color change there. It's supposed to be cocoa, so and I'm going to do like a little cut, a little bubble cut, they call it, around here. So if you never wanted to have to do right up to the edge, you can always do a bubble cut. And that's where you're just leaving that little bit of a roundness, like a shadow, a drop shadow, around your items. Okay. I watched some crazy movies last night. I don't even know what the names of them were. This one was about, I think an asteroid was coming to crash into the earth. So these people had decided to go to the Tennessee mountains to spend out the rest of their days. They kind of like went up to a camping area. But all these people were deciding to kill themselves instead of waiting for the comet. Oh, it was kind of grisly. It wasn't something I was that happy about. All right. Will that work? Oh, yeah. Think that'll work. So, I have a little bit of a leakage there, but I think it's all right. And then I don't really need anything else. I've got that little bit, the knot and everything that you can see. And then I've got this little bit of the grid down here. So I think there's a good bit of texture going on that page already. And I had this wood grain over here. So that was a lot of the reason that I wanted this here. Now this is that little flip up. Got a little chair on the back side of it. And this one has the chocolates. I think I saw Castaway advertised the other night. I almost watched it again. Is there any movies that you have watched so many times that you can almost, say exactly what is going to be said? I have. The Day After Tomorrow. Also Independence Day. There's quite a few of them. I think Contact. That was one of my early favorites, Contact. If you've never watched that one's really cool too. That's where that girl believes in space aliens. I don't know how you would phrase it. She believes there's something out there. And she has like grants that she gets sometimes, and they let her listen on these really huge telescopes to see if something about they have a it's kind of like signing up for computer lab, like what we had to do back in the early 80s, or yeah, the early 80s, like 80 and 81. So you had to sign up for it, and you had that many hours to use the product, and then it was on to the next person's. So that's what she was doing with some of these really large satellite dish arrays, where they could get some sound. And trying to figure out where I want to put this pie. I think I might put him right there. Cake. And yeah, and then she finally hears something. She listens with headphones where other people just use a computer or something. She likes to do it old school. But it's a really old movie with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. But it was kind of sad because she's the one that discovered this noise and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden it's kind of taken away from her because this other guy that was always competing with her, he kind of took over her project. And I thought, there's nothing fair out there anymore, Now, I've got another one of these little guys here. That's a little symbol. It's like a doorway or something. And this piece, I love this piece. Let me see if there's something on the other side it's holding. No, it was just holding that in there. This was the top part, and I love the coffee part. I love the burlap part. And then it had these cool looking lights, which I have a few lights and things, but I don't know if it's enough to really try to keep carrying that on. But I did wonder about making this either just a sewn in piece where you can actually flip it and see the coffee, or like I would sew or glue one of them down to where it's an upper tuck, which this one might be the better one because I just don't know. I'm still debating on that one. So what do you think? Do you think I should like make it an upper tuck I don't know exactly what I would stick in it. I don't have that many journal cards and such. But I love both sides, and I don't really know what to do. I may just leave this on here and keep thinking about it and see what I can actually figure out with this thing. Alright, now this page doesn't have anything. Now some of these blank pages, I can come back through and add some more of that wood lumber. Now this one, I thought to do a belly band. And this journal card will go in with this belly band. And there's a couple of other things, like that little guy goes there. This is from, it was another piece. Was it this piece back here? Yeah, it was this piece. There was a last one, and I cut it off because that wouldn't fit, obviously. So I decided to have this here, and I was going to put this in the middle, but I'd be covering up cinnamon. And I didn't know if I wanted to do that, so I thought, well, maybe I can put this up above or down below. And it'll be a belly band for this side. And then this little guy is just going to go here in the center. So we'll go ahead and get him ready. Of course, here's the doily page, which somebody's going to be able to feel the textures on these doilies. So it's going to work out. This says coffee lover. This one says coffee is the best. Okay, I'm trying to think if I want to do that. I think I'm gonna put it up here, which, yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it up here. Now it needs to have glue everywhere but the last little 1/4 inch, it looks like. Okay. Yeah, but contact, with that dun dun dun. That's about what that noise sounded like when they heard. And it was kind of neat. There was that old rich guy, and the first one that they made, the United States made, of this structure that was supposed to send her to see the aliens. This weird guy got in there, and he made it blow up. So they lost all that money. But the guy, there was this rich guy that was kind of adding the money for this. He got with, did he say it was Taiwan or Japan? Maybe it was Japan. He got with them, and he built a second one over there. And so he wanted her to be the one that went to talk to the aliens. Now, they tried to say something about, now see, her dad was killed, or not killed, but he died. He had heart issue, and he really did everything he could for his daughter, because they knew that she was going to be strong in the sciences while she was young. So he made sure that she got all the training and learning experience that she could. He got like a telescope for her, and they learned the stars, and she was very young when he passed away. And of course that left a little bit of a, an imprint on her, to where she didn't believe in God, or she held it against him, or something along those lines about her father. So what happened was, they voted for her not to go on the American version of the machine, because they said that they didn't want the first, they had all these different committees and everything was voting and all that kind of stuff. So they didn't want their first connection with the alien species to be with somebody that didn't believe in God, because about what did they say, 70% of the world had some kind of belief in a higher being. So it was something to do with that. So that's how she got kind of voted out of being chosen. It was her and the guy that was always competing with her for everything. And actually, he got killed because he was going to go into the machine and get ready to get strapped down. And that's when that radical guy, I don't know what you would call it, I guess radical is a good word for it, had everything blown up. He had a bomb on there. Or he was the bomb. I can't remember which it was. I thought this little piece of lace that I had kind of laying around would work good right there. I needed to, camouflage that strip that went down the middle. And I thought I'd put that down in the center. So I thought that might work. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get myself ready to go. Do I have enough on there? Maybe put a few spots of really thick. Because that skeletal lace is really deep. I think that's central. There we go. So I'm going to sit here and hold this for a second. Okay, got that on there pretty good. And I've got another one of those yellow things happening over here. So I'm going to take, and I'm actually going to cut it this time. I'm going to take and cut this last board off of here like it's a plank. So that's why I'm not ripping it this time. Sometimes you can rip it if you want a little texture. Sometimes you can just cut it. Because these are 3 planks that went down through here. So I'm taking this one and I'm just going to kind of put it down here at this bottom section. And there we go. That's a little bit right there. And let's see. I really did love how that kind of turned out. I do need to cut in a little bit. I left a little bit too much of that lip showing. Well, my buddy Zach, we never did get to go over. We're just going to make an extra long trip next year. We'll probably spend 8-9 days or something over in West Virginia to do our researching. I don't know if it'll be in January. I don't know if we're going to get to any cemeteries at that time of the year. So maybe we'll just make a really long march because both of our birthdays are in March. Okay. And this is a little longer than it needs to be. So I'm going to trim it about right here. Go right up through there. Maybe I can use that little piece for something else. I don't think I'm straight for one thing. There we go. Let me get back in here and do that to get the white core off. Now, I'm kind of wondering about making it a little pocket. So I may do that. I may just like glue around my outside edges. That's still not straight. Okay. So I'm going to actually use this because it's deeper. You got a little bit of a sink in a few places here. So that's what we're going to do. Going to use our fabric tack. Now, I had Anne that was asking me about different glues. And if anybody is interested in the different glues that I use, I did have a glue review, they call it, where and I had a lot more different glues at that time that I was using and trying out and seeing if I liked it. Some had low costs that went with them. Like there's an Aleene's glue. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's supposed to be one that glues quickly, and then it's a pretty good price point. But I don't know. I got to where it feels like when you're trying to clean your fingers off, it's almost like it peels. You know, like it keeps rolling up on your fingers. So it must have more water content. I didn't like that aspect of it. Okay, so I think that part's down, and that looks good, all that together. Now, if you didn't like the white, you could scuff over it with like your vintage photo or whatever other brown color that you're wanting to get into. And the reason I left it white is because I had a white element here. So it kind of combines it all the way down through there. So, but I did camouflage my 2 meeting points there. That was the most important part. And, whoops, that kind of went over a little bit and glued to that next side. Now here's another of my tea bag. See, here's the other side of that. I don't really need the lights. That's the thing. So maybe I come back through here and I just use the coffee. Let's just decide to do that. Now this side, I don't know that I need that much going on it. I do love the little burlap edge. Maybe I can do like an edge design or something. So let's do that. Instead of me just kind of hanging on it and not doing anything with it, I don't think that's going to show. So sometimes when you have something where you're not going to be able to see your mark, you can bend it. Like I'll do a little bend right there. And I know that's where I need to cut it. And then I'll be right back. I'm actually going to cut it in half as well, so I've got 2 edges. Actually, I'm going to rip them. I'm going to cut this down here, and then I'll be back. All right, I got that little bit of coffee that I can use somewhere, which that's kind of a cool, it'd make a cool little tuck. So if I've got one that I don't have any of these coffee beans in, that's what I'll do. Now, this here, I would like to like rip it down the center. So I've got 2 rough edges. So it's not all straight board kind of, you know, thing. Now, if you go back and forth, you'll get the 2 different sides to come out, like the white or the, you know, the white or the flush, I guess you would call it. So it just depends on how you want to rip it. Now this little guy, I'm going to go ahead and cover them. You can also make a tuck out of this, which that may be what I do. Yeah. And I'll save this one possibly for another book. We'll just have to see. Like right here. That might be a good tuck. I might actually turn it this way so the 2 rough edges are together. You know, the rough ripped edge of the page. And then I'll have a tuck here. But we're going to actually put us a thumb pull in it. Is that the center? Close enough. Okay. Ink that. And then I'm putting it on like flat paper, so I can just use this. Yeah. I love the idea of the lights, but they really didn't have that much to do with the concept. There we go. So we're going to add this little guy kind of in right there. Come up through there. I think yeah, I got some on there. I didn't mean to. Wipe up the excess. And then we're going to go to the next. There we go. Now sometimes you can actually do this. That really pushes that glue and that paper into your base. And it really helps to secure it. Alright. Next. We got through all that. And then we had this page, which, I had these two little guys. I got some on the other side too. I think those were to go over here. But first, coffee. And then I've got old coffee. So, I think maybe I'll do it like this, where I've got, and I'll do a little bit more of this paper here. Because we got that nice white kind of cup looking at us there. Okay, there. I kind of ripped it a little bit, but that's all right. Ugh. So down here, I need this. Like that. Gives me my texture on that page. And then this little guy, kind of go like right in here. I love that little coffee pot. That's that one we talked about before. Actually, I need to probably use this other glue, because I'm going across that grid, you know. And it's got the little sinkholes there that won't quite. Let's see, let's put it right there. Yeah, that does a whole lot better. And we're going to use the same glue over here to do this center. Now, it might be that I can use a little bit of that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut with my cutter a nice clean strip of this. And we're actually going to put that maybe that way. Oh, yeah, let's do it that way. Do I need to cut it? See, but we're just going to rip it. I change my mind all the time, guys. You know that. I'm going to actually rip all four sides, so it is all uniform. And then we're going to get in here and do the little bit of inking we need on it to calm down the, yeah. Now I could, what am I using? I think this is scorched timber. But if I wanted it a little warmer looking, which I should have, I could have used my vintage photo. Alright, so I think, yeah, I like that. So let's use this one since we're using, or going with, I'm going to actually do it this way. Like a little bit of a detail I got to go into. Okay. I could have made this a belly band, but I'm not going to worry about too many belly bands and such in this one. Yeah. I had that, you know, the line in the middle where the two bags met. And that's what I was wanting to kind of cover up and hide. There we go. And then I've got the old coffee here. Ooh, come on. Now this one needs some, like, rings on it. Some coffee rings. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of come... I wanted to keep that part showing, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Actually, I'll just kind of go down. How about that? Let's do that. I can still see some beans. Alright, and then we're going to do this coffee over here. I could use the regular glue for this, but nah. Sometimes you got it out. Go ahead and use it. Alright, let's go with our coffee cup. There. It looks like this this fabric tack soaks into this brown paper really easily. It certainly does. All right, I'm going to get some of the leakage off of there. All right, I think I can live with that. That turned out pretty cool. This kind of looks like this to me. So it's kind of like I'm doing a little balancing act there. All right, what we got here? We got another saying. We got a little advertisement for cocoa. I've got this delicious looking cake. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to go on the bottom for this one and have the cake look like it's going to be sitting on top. So let's just do that. I have these little leaves that I was doing for the dragon journal. I still haven't got back to that dragon journal, guys. I'm sorry. But, yeah, I was going to, I think I'm going to put that there in it. Yeah, that looks good. But I was noticing that I had, the glitter paper that I had cut those leaves out of. And I may try to put some of that down and use it as a texture. There's two different kinds I've got. Tommy sent them to me. And one is a very close cut. I don't know what you would call it. You can barely tell that it's glitter. And it doesn't come off at all. It's like part of the paper, basically. And then you got another one that's got a real big texture to it. But it's definitely glitter that I think can come off. All right, so there's our pretty little cake. And our little advertisement to go with the cocoa. All right. I thought this was cute. Got all kinds of stuff. Ooh, bonbons. Or macaroons. I was watching those on the TV the other night. Now, this is for the back side of this little guy. There's nothing on there. It's got a little bit of decoration. But we will go ahead and put that there. And I think it's going to put that there. Yeah. Now, the other little bit of coffee or my wood grain could go on some of the rest of these papers to decorate. I don't know. I love this background here. And I had to pick a particular color to go against it because it had to be a dark on this little piece I'm gluing down so it would stand out. It wasn't standing out in some of the other lighter shades of a background. Okay. I love his little dots. I can still see them. That's good enough. All right, and then I don't know if I want to put like this little bit of a coffee tuck over here. This is about chocolate, though. See, I kind of went back and forth between chocolate and cocoa. And, well, I may just think about that one. I don't know if I'm going to mix these into other different journals or I'll just leave it as is. Let's see. Is that how I like it? I wondered about putting something else here as well. Because, yeah, something like that. So it just had another look to it. Let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and get that ripped off right there. I'm going to leave that one side flat, though. Okay. And I need to do the other glue. Okay. And as you know, I always add more or I'll see something I need to tweak, or anything along those lines. You know, I'm always going to change it, so you might see something different at the flip through that you didn't see me doing while I was working on it. So it keeps it fresh, right? Keeps it fresh. All right. Okay, everybody. This is all I'm going to do today. I hope you enjoyed it. We got a few of this, we got all of this signature done. There may be more added to it. Like I said, I'm still debating. But, yeah, the majority has something going on in it. Like I got a nice tuck there. This page is totally blank. So maybe I'll come back and do something with it that has the sensory part to it. I just have to figure out what that might be. Maybe it'll be more the board. Yeah. Maybe it'll be more the adhesive wall repair. So we will just have to see. All right, everybody, take care. And I'm so glad you come by to see me, all my subscribers and viewers. I appreciate you so much. And everybody, have a great, great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.